Greetings, travelers. Sazi Mejia for Shacknews. And if you've started to visit shacknews.com right now, you might have noticed that we're starting to get into the card analyses and the breakdowns for Kobolds and Catacombs, Hearthstone's next expansion. But before we go any further with that, and before the card reveals begin in earnest on Tuesday, I kind of wanted to go back to Knights of the Frozen Throne, Hearthstone's last expansion, and look into some of what I might have gotten wrong. Yeah, I might have gotten some of that stuff very wrong. So I kind of want to give myself a little bit of a redo and look back at 5 of the cards that I got the most wrong and see where I kind of messed up with that analysis and kind of redo that analysis. So let's go ahead and take a look. Number 5 is Drakari Enchanter. When I originally took a look back at Drakari Enchanter back during the analyses, I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit more of a staple than it was. Going back to that analysis, I kind of talked about how it would give a second effect to cards like Cabal Trafficker, Primal Fin Totem, Manatide Totem, Hogger, or like Despicable Dreadlord. It's a cool idea on its face, but what I didn't realize is that, you know, with the 1/5 stats on a 3-cost card, it doesn't really do a whole much of a lot. There's still a wealth of 3-cost cards that do much better than Drakari Enchanter, sad to say. So that minion's not going to catch on, but hey, maybe there's going to be more event of turn effects in this expansion or even future expansions, and it might still find a place in people's decks. We're just going to have to wait and see. Number 4 is Skulking Geist. I'm going to say I'm just as guilty as anybody else when it comes to overestimating the value of this card. When I first saw it revealed, I thought it was going to own Jade Druid's space. I thought it was going to end Jade Druid forever. Turns out not so much. And that's because one thing I forgot about Jade Druid is that it's able to ramp up so quickly. I'm talking about cards like Wild Growth, cards like Nourish, and then even once their hand starts to empty, you got Ultimate Infestation, which gets 5 cards in their hand right away. And with Innervate, you keep playing more Jades. By the time you actually get Skulking Geist out, the Jade Druid already has quite a board presence. So it's good to kind of stop the flow, but by then the Jades have probably gotten out of control and the game's probably already over at that point anyway. So Skulking Geist is nice, but it's not enough to stop Jade Druid, and Jade Druid is actually still owning the meta as we speak. So maybe something else in Kobolds and Catacombs will come out that will kind of put an end to the Jade Druid train. But for right now, I'm not exactly holding my breath, and I'm not looking at Skulking Geist to do it. Number 3, oh look, it's Ultimate Infestation. Yeah, I just talked about this one with the Skulking Geist. Ultimate Infestation is something that I said was going to be a little bit too circumstantial. I thought it was going to be too slow for Zoo decks. Yeah, it's not for Zoo decks. I thought it wasn't going to be efficient enough for Jade decks, but I forgot one key component of that deck, and that's Innervate. Innervate gives Ultimate Infestation a whole lot of power, and it's able to replenish a lot of Jade Druid decks, and it's able to get board presence quickly. It's such a versatile tool, and it just keeps offering more and more value. The 10 mana cost doesn't really do much when Jade Druid is able to ramp up as quickly as it can. So I'm going to say that this was a big mistake on my part for me to underestimate this card. It's such a terror right now on the meta, and I don't see any stopping it. Blizzard had the opportunity to nerf Ultimate Infestation in the last update. They opted not to, in hopes that, you know, it was still going to get curbed, like nerfing some of the other cards around it would kind of nerf it a little bit. That's really not the case here, and it's something that's going to terrify the meta for probably several expansions to come. I don't see anything stopping it anytime soon, if at all. So I think we're going to be seeing this card for a long time to come, and it's going to terrorize Wild forever. So I clearly got this one wrong. Number 2 is Tainted Zealot. So when I originally did that analysis for Tainted Zealot, I kept seeing it through the prism of Blood Mage Thalnos. I go, well, Blood Mage Thalnos gives you the spell boost and it gives you a card draw. Why are you going to replace that? What I didn't realize is how well this thing was going to work with Defile. Defile is such a great spell for Warlock. I said it during the analysis, but what I didn't realize is how well it was going to work with Tainted Zealot in terms of just plain clearing the board. And a lot of times it will clear the board. So I clearly messed up on this one. Yeah, Blood Mage Thalnos is nice to get the card draw, but card draw is not an issue for Warlock. They got a hero power that they can keep bringing it out. Tainted Zealot is something that can clear out large threats at a reasonable rate, and with Defile, it works exceptionally well. So I'm going to say Tainted Zealot is going to be around for a good while. I messed up on this one. Blood Mage Thalnos is going to be good for other classes, but for Warlock, it's Tainted Zealot or it's nothing else. And the number 1 card I was wrong about? Yeah, it's Prince Keleseth. So I'm going to quote my Shacknews analysis here. An experimental legendary. This is far too circumstantial to work in any sort of viable deck. On top of that, there are way too many valuable 2-cost cards out there for all classes. Imagine a mage without Frostbolt, a paladin without Hydrologist, or a hunter without Crackling Razor Maw. This card isn't worth sacrificing those other far more useful staples, so don't expect to see much of the prince. Yeah, what else can I say? I was completely wrong. And that's because I didn't look at some of the other classes. There was no way I thought that Rogue was going to get use out of this, just because Eviscerate has been such a key card for that class for so long. But what I didn't realize is just how aggravating this card can be with Shadow Step. The Shadow Step basically turns every single minion in the Rogue deck into a beast, and it's just hard to beat. Prince Keleseth also works really well with Pirate Warrior decks. And here's a really funny thing about that is the last patch that supposedly balanced everything, it actually worked in favor of the Pirate Warrior in hindsight, because now Fiery War Axe, instead of being a 2-cost, is now a 3-cost, which means Prince Keleseth now has a place in the Pirate Warrior deck. Even Warlock is having a good time with this, just because it's revived the Zoo archetype for the Warlock. It's amazing like how quickly it's able to get threat after threat after threat out there, and they're all beefed up. It's not even funny how wrong I was about Prince Keleseth, and we're seeing it in the pro meta, we're seeing it on ladder, we're not so much seeing it in arena, but it's just such a crazy powerful card, and it's not going to go away. But maybe something in the new expansion will find a way to stop it, or maybe we'll even see some 2-cost cards that'll be too irresistible to pass up. But for now, this is the one that I got wrong the most, and it's not even close. But that's enough dwelling on the past. It's time to look to the future. So we're going to be looking at all the cards for Kobolds and Catacombs in the coming weeks. Until then, be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to catch all the card analyses at Shacknews.com.